He's just dying. Smoke later. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing a bit of a fireside chat with one of our past and current students, Ziad. He's been in the Creators University for about 2 years now, so he's a bit of an OG. And yeah, we're just hanging out by the fire, getting smoked out. But yeah, it should be fun to just talk about Ziad's journey in the Creators University and just kind of on his whole journey as a video business owner.
So whenever I joined Creators University, I was at a weird moment where I was trying to make things official. So it's like you're doing a video for $300. We've all been there where it's like you're doing the video, you're putting a ton of time in, you're like, this is nicer than doing a 9 to 5. But then you're just not realizing that you're just getting into like clockwork, and really it's not a true business. So when I joined, I was at that point where I was just trying to build my business. I was trying to make it something official. And then once I joined and I started, very quickly I started getting really quick information. I remember that month that I joined, I actually bought my mom a car. And I bought her a car.
Dang.
I also spent all the money on the program. And I was like, yeah, I'm at a quadruple net loss this month. So it was really scary, but it was good stuff. It worked out.
That's crazy. I didn't know you did that. You probably told me, but that's crazy. So yeah, crazy time, some financial uncertainty, I'm sure. What was like the first, I don't know, how did you start making progress forward? Like what started to change from there on out, if that makes sense?
I think the first thing that you told me once we started was mindset. And I'm sure it's something that you still do. But just to realize that it's not just a business approach, it's a whole holistic approach. It's the way you operate on life and the way that you just take everything slowly. And you just think of it in a way where it all makes sense. So for me, I always thought business was I have a good product and then I just reach out to the client and it just happens. And clearly that's not how it works. You have a good product, you market yourself, you do the numbers game, you keep building up, you raise your prices, you do all the things that you need to do on the base level, and then you start building on that. And that was one of the first things that I realized. When you change your mindset, you change the way you think about money, the way you think about how much.
Got some race cars going by. I don't know if you guys can hear.
Adam's like, this is my place.
Yeah, we got a car guy producing this podcast in the back, and he's stoked. Anyways.
But once I realized that you take it from the holistic approach, and it's all about mindset and really just put it all together, that was a big way for me to start growing.
Off camera, before this conversation, you were talking about how you finally booked this trip that we got you over the fence to want to book, and there was some hesitation to book this trip you really wanted to go on because there was almost like this guilt of like, I need to be just getting ripped. It's hard to be serious. It's all right. There's this theme in business of like, you start your business to build freedom for yourself. Then you get into it and it's really easy to be controlled by your business. I can't.
It adds to the casualness. I don't mind it.
Yeah, no, I love it. This is fun. This is why we did this, so that we could smoke out Miguel. But there's this thing that happens when most people get into business is you start to be your own boss, to make your own decisions, to take your time off when you want to, but then you get into it and you do the opposite. You feel guilty. You feel like you should be working all the time. You feel guilty when you take time off. And and you sort of literally just yesterday, so we met up off camera, went to coffee before this, and this is what we were talking about. You literally like had one of these shifts yesterday. So I want to hear about that. Yeah. I know we wanted to dive into that on this podcast interview, fireside chat, whatever this is.
So before I get roasted, because it's coming for sure, that's one of the things that I always battle with. With being your own business owner, you're not working a 9 to 5 anymore. You have to pick your time.
5 to 9.
Exactly. Or 24/7.
Or 24/7. Hopefully not. But
I personally feel like with working, I'm almost at a what's it called? What's the word? I'm getting roasted.
I believe in you.
I'm getting roasted here.
I believe in you.
With business, I feel like I'm always having to not force myself, but pushing myself constantly to grow the business.
Yep.
So it's always, if I stay put and I'm not growing, then I'm going backwards. So I'm always having that mindset of go. And then in that, I'm always forgetting to work normal shifts or normal time or take time off. Like The last time I took time off, I genuinely don't remember. I worked through Christmas, I worked through New Year's. The only time that I actually took off was, I'm Muslim, so I took off Ramadan, and that was the only time I took off. And like, that's literally me having to take off. So it's nice to just take a step back and just say, hey, as you guys were talking about, let me take a step back and let me see those systems. Are they gonna fall into place and continue moving? Because you've built the business to be able to last without you, hopefully. So that's one thing that I've been trying to figure out. It's one of those mindsets that I'm still trying to change, and I'm sure that each one of us has that to a little bit of a degree, where it's like, do I take time off? Do I make more money? I don't give myself time off. Once I go on a big trip, I finally have to give myself time off. I can't just get back to client work, because I've went on smaller trips where I've been like, okay, let me do something work-wise, or let me figure something out work-wise. Being in another country, you're like, yeah, that's a lot less possible. So yeah, I have to force myself sometimes, but 100% see the benefit of it, and I'm hoping to start making it a standard. I'm working on hiring a few people to be able to give me time off. A lot of my business is structured with retainers, and that's the problem sometimes with my business, because it feels like 3 or 4 full-time jobs. And now I'm trying to work as a business owner to fix that, and strategize for the future.
Yeah, dude. Let's lean into that, like the whole retainer thing, because that's your model. I know a lot of people. Now I'm getting cooked. A lot of people would be very envious of that. They want more retainers, but on the surface, retainers are more attractive than they are in reality sometimes. Like, oh man, I can't breathe now. I think people think just the consistent work is like you've won the lottery when you can have like 4 clients that just pay you every month. Like, that would be great. But then you get into it, and like you said, it's like you almost have four bosses, 4 different jobs. So I know you said it's a work in progress, and you're sort of like working through that. But like, what's your plan? How are you going to work through that?
So going into this year, I had 4 retainers booked, and then a few that were really close to being booked. I was just in between making that happen. And it's definitely a double-edged sword. Like, it's such a double-edged sword, because you're doing X amount of content for Y, which seems so nice. But when I came into this new year, Q1, I took a big hit because I didn't take two of my retainers with me. I told them I'd love to work with them on one-off projects in the future, which is nice because we're still working off one-offs. But now I have that healthy relationship. Yes, I'm making maybe less a month from, expected or guaranteed, but it's opened up huge whirlwinds. So like, I started this Q1 this year was pretty bad for me, comparatively to other quarters, because I was trying to restructure the business. I've come back now, I think we're 2 months into Q2, but these 2 months I'm above 20. So it's really nice to like say I've let go from the guarantees that I have, and then I came back with 2 of my biggest months since last year. So it's nice to sometimes just let go and relinquish. But yeah, the retainer model is attractive in the beginning. It's amazing to have 1 or 2 maybe retainers, but cap it at that, because it's just going to become not even 4 bosses, like 9, because you have those weird politics with retainers where the owner likes this, but the social media manager likes that.
Oh God.
And they're clashing, and then the owner just doesn't want to meet with you.
Giving me a migraine, bro.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it. No, 100%. So yeah, so you're saying having like 1 to 2 baseline, retainers is just kind of like a guaranteed. I'm gonna make, let's say, $6K a month, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And then everything else on top is icing on the cake, and then it takes some of that pressure off, financial pressure off, to where if I don't close any deals this month, I don't make anything.
Exactly.
I don't make $0. And I have rent to pay, I have bills to pay. So it gives you that, but then being aware of not overbooking yourself to where it then caps you on the other end, to where you can't take on any more work because you're so busy working these 4 jobs.
And I think taking that guarantee also gives you such big leverage with clients. Every time you're going to pitch a client, when you have a retainer, you're able to say, I'm sticking to my guns, and if they come lower, it's fine because I make enough anyway. So it's really important, I think, to be able to have at least 1 or 2 clients in your home base that always support you. Thankfully now I've been able to build my retainers up. My longest retainer I've had so far is 4 years, and the second longest is 3. So the 2 that I dropped, those were ones where I've only worked with them for like 4 to 3 months. So I'm like, it's just not worth the stress of going through everything. But yeah.
That's so good. Yeah, something in there I want to unpack is like what you're saying about having those retainers, having that financial stability gives you more, this is how I interpret it, gives you more confidence when you're pitching other deals, because you're not in that desperate situation where you have to make money, you have to close deals, and that's not a good place to be in when you're in business, because then you start working with clients you don't want to work with and that aren't paying you enough, and you start seeming desperate, and you're actually going to close less deals because the one who needs the deal the least usually gets it, right? So you have this like form of confidence because I genuinely don't need you. If these are my prices, this is what I charge, this is how I operate, this is my process. If you don't like it, that's fine, because I don't need you. You need me more than I need you. So you're saying it gives you that like sense of stability so you can come into those pitches with confidence.
Fully. And now that I've booked higher end deals, the higher end deals are so much easier to book, and they would be impossible to book if you had that full list of roster.
Yes.
Because those clients are just looking for, you solve my problem and I want to spend 5 digits towards it. And you're like, cool, I can make that happen. Here's the timeline, let's get started. With a lot of these clients, they're looking for no baggage. And I feel like, exactly, having no, being not desperate for those deals, plus also having the capacity for it, so important.
That's fire. Yeah, when to land those higher paying clients that everyone's probably watching this video to learn how to do, it's not going to happen unless you can come to the table, be confident, and be able to say no.
Exactly.
You could land, maybe a $500 video, these little $1,000 videos, not really like knowing who you are or being confident in yourself, but you sit across the table with a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company and you're talking about 10, 20, 30, 50, 100K budgets. Their bullshit meter and like their red flag meter, like it goes up so fast. And so the second they feel like you need them more than they need you, like game over. You're just not going to close those deals. And so it's tough though, because let's say you don't have those retainers, right? You're not making money. You almost have to, I don't like the term fake it till you make it, but you almost have to like pretend mentally, I have 10K in the bank, I have 5K on a retainer, I don't need them. I talked to one of our other students, Ian, another OG. He was saying how this happened. He hit rock bottom, lost all his clients, had no money, went in and closed his first 20K deal because right before the meeting, he was like, I'm good. I have 50K in the bank. Like, I have all these clients. They need me more than I need them. And he just went in with that mindset and with that confidence and closed it. And that's badass.
Yep.
That's cool.
That's that.
But like
incredible.
these are the mindset things that we were talking about at the beginning of this call, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you know what to say, if you know how to charge, if you understand video strategy, all this stuff that I talk about, if you're not confident, if you're not in a good place mentally, if you're upset, if you're pissed, and then you're like lashing out on your clients and like being unprofessional and then that continues to snowball, and then you're just stuck and you kind of go around that hamster wheel over and over again. So you have to almost just like trick yourself into that. So
Yeah, fully.
we could talk about just that for hours, but I think we got the point across there. So if you are starting from rock bottom, you almost have to pretend that you're not.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's tough to do. It's tough to do. You have to, in business, you have to put your emotions aside a little bit, and you just have to look at it very numerically and very, it's this, it's that. Like, you have to push your emotion aside, push that till the evening before work. But like when you're working, when you're clocked in, like emotions aside, like I need to do more outreach. I need to do this today. Like you just have to, like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not explaining it very well.
No, I know
there's
what
this
you mean.
sense of like, I know you know what I mean. Yeah. Like there's this sense of putting your emotions to the side, and you just gotta get the work done.
Yeah, I'll try to help you out with it too. It's like, you are Connor, I'm Ziad, but when it comes to business hours, we have to be the business almost. So I'm Ziad, but I have to represent Epicem Studios. So the emotion side of things shouldn't come out and lash out towards clients. So fully understand what you're saying.
Which is tough to do, because to an extent, like, the business is you and you are the business. Like your business is your life.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Like how, you know what I mean? Like personally, how do you do that?
All my friends always find it funny when I tell them we just finished the project, or we just did this, we did that. and it's the royal we. I never refer to myself as I with my business because I never look at it that way. Even if it's just me as a one-man band, I was always saying we to put myself in that mindset that it's just never me. I'm representing the business.
Oh,
But yeah.
yeah, the classic we. That's the trick right there. To
Honestly,
working with.
that's just been enough to be able to tell myself, actually believing it's we, not just telling myself it's we, to be able to say, I can leave my emotions out of this. I've had clients that have pulled up in G-Wagons, but then been saying, hey, we're not going to pay you more than, let's say, $3,600 or $3,800, whatever that is. So when you're looking at that and you're looking at the project, you could easily feel disrespected, but then just leaving it aside and saying, all right, I hear you. Let's work past it. Let's work through it.
Dude,
So, yeah.
that's so good. Yeah, put that emotion aside. It's like, yeah, that would be very easy to complain about. Pulling up in a G, oh, you don't want to pay me more than $500, let's say, extreme example. But when you can just be rational and then just ask your client, whoa, like, I'm confused. I'm just going to, like, you pulled up in a G-Wagon. You're not trying to spend more than $500 on this video. What's the disconnect? What's going on? Like, is it just the money, or is it you don't see more than $500 worth of value in this content? And then you can have a logical conversation. But that's never going to happen. You're never going to give yourself that opportunity to overcome that objection and charge more if you're just acting out of emotion.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of sort of the theory we just talked about.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, it's also like having confidence in your product and your ability to deliver and do something for that person, to be like, okay, like, I'm seeing some disconnects here, and that's not going to allow us to move forward, and like for us to deliver like a really good product for you. And this is ultimately here what we're here to do. So like, let me kind of dig a little bit more and find what that disconnect is. And in doing so, you're being genuine, and you're already making yourself stand out from the competition because you're like actually tackling the objections that you're wanting to basically tear down that are not there. So and confidence in your product and your confidence in your systems and your ability to like tackle those objections where other people are just going to run into the wall and be like, sure, I'll take the 500. You can have a conversation and be like, where's that coming from? It's like, okay, like now we see eye to eye. Truly, how much are you looking to spend something like this? I was like, well, actually, I do have $3,500. And I was like, okay, let's talk about this, because I'm giving you value, but you're also like respecting the value that I'm giving you at the same time. It's like we're working in this together. So
Yeah.
Your eyes are bloodshot red.
oh yeah.
You're getting roasted by the smoke, homie.
But still, spit in that heat.
And I'm still here.
Still spitting heat. Throat's destroyed.
I'm
eyes
inhaling the
destroyed.
heat so I can spit it.
Dang!
Oh,
I'm putting my mic down.
But
Mic drop
I
moment.
can't put it down.
All right, Ziad. So, dude, you're a different person than you were 2 years ago. Like when I met you, basically. So we'll start wrapping this up because Ziad literally has a meeting with a client right after this. But going into the future, what's the goal now? What's the plan? Like, even just talking to you yesterday and today, like, I know the gist, but like, what's the goal moving forward? You're taking some time off. You're taking that trip, which is a big mindset thing. You're like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to take time off. You're working on restructuring the retainers, restructuring the business a little bit. Like, what's the goal? Like, the next 12 months?
Yeah. That's literally all I've been thinking about. So for the next 12 months, I want to make my business more sustainable. We're making good money. So now it's how can we make good money consistently without putting in the effort that we've been putting in. So like, for example, like working 60-hour weeks. I'm not trying to do that anymore. I'd love to consistently make the same amount, putting less time in and allowing myself to work on more passion projects. I want to travel regularly. I want to create YouTube videos. I want to be able to actually showcase the art of my craft versus just the business side of it, because that's all I've been doing for the past 2-3 years. So I've lost that art aspect and I want to gain it in any way. I've been working on a photo book. I've mood boarded and shot listed a ton of short film ideas. So I think it's time for me to say, cool, we're gonna make things more sustainable. We're gonna hire whoever we need to hire and then start focusing on different avenues along with growing the business. So I think that's my goal for the next 12 months. And then even 5 years from now, I wanna be able to push that even more. What?
He's just dying.
Oh,
Smoke.
oh,
All right, later. We had the chairs on that side, and then we moved them over here because it looked better. But then the smoke is now going this direction. But dude, no, I love that, and I think there is something to be said about the season that you've been in of like going this extreme direction of like first, like wasn't making much money, weren't making much money, didn't have that many clients. Now it's almost like you could argue you're making too much money, too much clients, too busy. So you've experienced now this full side. You're like, I don't want to do that. You know what you don't want to do, which is sometimes as valuable or more valuable than just not knowing, like not hitting that full limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so now you're able to like dial back and build something that like really truly serves you. So that's going to be a really exciting season moving forward, I think.
Yep, I'm excited.
So
because I feel like the hardest part's already been done. Now it's almost like I dialed in. You love coffee. We both love coffee. You know how it goes with coffee.
Cheers.
You dial it in. Let's say you dialed it in too much, right? You've passed the metrics. Now the shot's way too over saturated, or it just took too long to come out of the portafilter. That's where I'm at.
Yep.
Like I've dialed it in too much. I've put too many grams in, and the shot is just taking too long to come out. So now I'm like, okay, cool. That was the hard part. I got a lot of beans. Now let me use less beans. I don't know. It's a funny analogy, but what I'm trying to say is instead of putting in an insane amount of time, instead of, working really hard for the goals that I've already worked for, now I just need to drop those goals a little. Consistently just stay with what I've already done, but just have more time to myself.
Facts.
Yeah.
I appreciate the coffee analogy as well. It made it crystal clear in my head, and probably a lot of other people
That's kind of, yeah.
wearing rolled up beanies heads.
Well, the people who are wearing rolled up beanies, that's why I explain it again for them.
100%. Yeah. Well, dope, man. What do you say we wrap this up? Sweet. Cool. If you want to learn more, and this was a valuable conversation, this is my call to action. Below this video, there's a free training. It's going to help you grow your video business and become what Ziad is now and is becoming. Landing more clients, making more money, and yeah, really building his dream video business. So training down below. If you want to keep learning, Ziad, you're the man. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate you.
Miguel, later. We ended this without you.
And I'll say one
smoke.
thing too. So I know the position you're in as a viewer. I'll set up for this. I know the position you're in. If you haven't,
at the camera angle.
Yeah.
Look at the camera.
If you haven't made the investment yet and you're looking at making the investment, the biggest thing that sometimes you ask yourself is, should I make this now? And you constantly keep asking yourself that question. Time is money, friends. Time is money. So the time that you're going to be spending searching, is this the right program? Or should I be doing this? Or is this the best way to spend my assets? You can instead save that time, invest. It doesn't work out, I highly guarantee it's not going to work out. But also at the same time, if it doesn't work out, at least you have time to play with. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is time is money, don't waste it.
Boom. I'm going to drop my stick mic again. No, dude, seriously, appreciate that, man. And if you're not ready, I'll push back. If you're not ready to invest in a program yet and you just want to learn more about what we do and who we are, because we're just dudes sitting around a campfire being goofballs, check out that training. It'll give you a little bit more info. And then you can take Ziad's advice if you feel inspired to get more help and grow further, much faster. So
awesome.
that's a wrap. Cut.
Appreciate you guys.
See you guys later. Peace.